Well, I was the District Court Judge in Teton County and 2 other counties for 15 plus years. And when I was sitting on the bench, I saw how effective the programs at Teton Youth and Family Services, how effective they were, and especially Red Top Meadows, the residential treatment center for young boys, and what they did, how they helped families and children. And it still warms the cockles of my heart. And I have young men, they're now mid-20s, some of them are even older, who still are in touch with me and thanking me for sending them to Red Top Meadows. When I was sitting on the bench, I'd always think it, and I'd tell the little boys too this, the young boys, that it was the step before the, we used to call it the reform school, but the boys' school. And the boys' school is like prison for naughty juvenile delinquents. And if they couldn't make it at Red Top, they would end up in the little boys' school, reform school. Well, the best choice is to be able to get them to stay in the home. And lots of times that's not possible because the mother and father are a mess, or they need help too. The options are limited throughout the state, and we are the only, there are, I think, 2 or 3 more residential treatment centers. It's because of the mineral industry has gone to heck in Wyoming, and the legislature has this year had to cut budgets right and left, and so the stream of money that has been there is still there, but it's less. Like, for example, when I would send a young boy to Red Top, and then I would hear that the state didn't want him to stay the 9 months or a year or whatever, which the counselors and therapists think that's what it usually takes with these young kids. I don't say one of the problems is Teton Youth and Family Services, even though I think 40 years, 35 or 40 years it's been around, but people don't know about the programs because of confidentiality, and unless their kids are involved, they really don't have any idea about it. This Teton Youth and Family Services, you don't have any idea what it does. It keeps kids out of out of jail, out of the boys' school. It helps families find their way. One of the things that people, if they're aware of the programs that, Red Top and Van Vleck and the crisis shelter, and the thing that amazed me is the low rate of recidivism. I would see a little boy, and I say a little boy, a young man, who was in deep trouble, and after being in Van Vleck House for 4 or 5 or 6 months, if necessary, or Red Top for a year, I would never see the kid again. The communication that I still have with young men and young women who were saved by Teton Youth and Family Services.